One. The Civil War brought many new technologies into the eyes of America. One of these new innovations was the ironclad ship. The first of these was used to destroy Union ships. The ship was named the Merrimack. At first it was a regular ship made by the Union, but the Confederacy captured it and turned it into an ironclad. Once this happened, the Merrimack was renamed the Virginia. The Virginia was an extremely large ship, weighing in at 4,636 tons, and was a football field in length. It had been going on a rampage around the Charleston port, so the Union built an ironclad of its own called the Monitor. The Monitor was a state-of-the-art ship at its time. Instead of traditional cannons on either side, it had one large rotating turret in the middle. Another big advantage was that the base of the Monitor sat only about 6 inches above the surface of the water. The Monitor was also much lighter and easier to maneuver, weighing in at about 1,000 tons, and only the length of 50 yards. On the dawn of March 9, 1862, the Merrimack sailed out hoping to take out more Union blockade ships, but on the way there they were intercepted by the Monitor. The Monitor had gotten to Chesapeake after a long and tiring voyage from New York, but the crew was ready to fight. As the ships approached each other, they fired their heavy cannons in hopes to disable the other, but the cannonballs merely bounced off the iron sides. This went on for many hours, with both ships watching their cannonballs bounce off each other. It might have continued for days, but the Monitor was forced to retreat into shallow water and replenish its ammunition. When the battle continued, the Monitor had started to fire at a small iron blockhouse in the back of the end of the Monitor. After only hitting a few times, a shell hit there and exploded, blinding the Monitor's commanding officer. As you might imagine, battle would turn out to be pretty hard with a blind commanding officer. The sailors on the Monitor had to take control of the ship and basically fight relying on everything the commanding officer had ever done. At this point, the Virginia could have destroyed the Monitor in seconds, but because the captain of Virginia had fighting another armor-piercing ship. Because neither of the ships could sink the other, both ships went back to their shipyards thinking
they had won the battle. The end of service came first for the Virginia. The town it was docked in had been abandoned without consulting the Navy. Because one end of the river was blocked and the Virginia was too big to get down the other side of the river, the commander had to make a quick decision. He decided to burn the Virginia to the ground. They pulled it on shore and started the fire from the inside. From then, the Virginia burned most of the day, only to leave a little of its iron skin behind. The Monitor was not so lucky either. One day, while it was being towed to Beaufort, North Carolina, to help in a blockade, it began to get very windy. The tides got high, and the Monitor began to take on water. Within a few hours, the Monitor had been drowned because the water overcame the power of the pumps and brought the ship to the bottom of the river on December 31st, 1862. Even though both of the ships had very unfortunate endings, it's safe to say they inspired a whole new kind of naval warfare to the world. These giant metal monsters started a new era of iron battleships and led on to the invention of torpedoes. The Virginia and the Monitor are very important ships and should never be forgotten in the dust of America.